Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today. My name is Selma Hannachi. I am neurologist at Annaba University Hospital, and it is my privilege to present the findings of our study titled Epidemiology of Cerebral Infarction in Young Adults, a retrospective study at Annaba University Hospital. Before diving into the specifics of our study, it is important to recall that the stroke or cerebrovascular accident is a major neurological emergency. It's defined by the sudden onset of neurological deficit and is currently the leading cause of acute disability in adults, the second leading cause of dementia, the fourth leading cause of long-term disability worldwide. The human, the social, and the economic impact is substantial. Cerebral infarctions in young people represent a pathology whose incidence is increasing worldwide. The particularity of this young population lies in the diversity of risk factors, as well as the etiologies incriminated. The main objective of our study was to describe the epidemiological, etiological, and evolutionary aspects of cases of cerebral infarction in young adults at the Annaba University Hospital. Our study is retrospective and descriptive. It covers a period of 4 years from January 2020 to December 2023. It was carried out in the neurology department, including outpatient consultations and other services of Annaba University Hospital. The inclusion criteria were confirmation of cerebral ischemia by neuroimaging and an age of onset between 16 and 55 years. The etiologies of cerebral infarction in our patients were determined by the classification, the TOS classification. In our study, overall hospital incidence of cerebral infarction was found. It was higher in 2023. There is slight male predominance in our study with a sex ratio of 1.2. We have categorized our population into 8 age groups, each spanning 5 years. An increased frequency is noted in 41 to 46 age group, accounting 22.8%. The mean age in our study was 42.7 years. The distribution of patients according to classic risk factors following the analysis of the association of cerebrovascular risk factors, the distribution of patients according to the classic risk factors, hypertension was the most frequently found risk factors with 14.6%, followed by tobacco, obesity, dyslipidemia, and diabetes. Distribution according to other risk factors, we have a nocturnal resonance in the first position with the percentage of 11.1%, followed by a history of cerebral infarction in 7.8%, and drug addiction in 5.6%, alcohol, migraine, oral contraception, and postpartum risk factor in 3.7%. According to the TOS classification, the undetermined causes was in the first positions in our study. The frequency, it was 41.1%, followed by the type 2 of cardioembolic disease in 26.7% and determined causes in 22.7%. The distribution of patients according to the type 2 the cardioembolic disease, we have the PFO, pattern forming oval, in the first position with 16.4%. It was isolated in 43.8% and associated with the atrial septal aneurysm in 18.7%. The PFO was followed by valvulopathy in 14.6%, atrial fibrillation in 8.3%. It was permanent in 4.1%, paroxysmal in 4.1%. The endocarditis was found in 4.2%. Distribution of patients according to type 4 determined causes found that the COVID-19 infection in the first position with 24.4%. It's followed by homozygote sickle cell disease in 19.5%, hyperhomocystinemia in 12.2%, and vitamin B12 deficiency in 9.8%. Other causes was found also indeterminate causes. In type 5 or indeterminate causes, many causes was found. It is distributed in the table. It was classified into 3 types: incomplete assessment in 43.2%, upper 2 causes in 37.8%, and the negative assessment in 18.9%. Sequelae in our study occurred in 63% of patients. It was primarily spastic or non-spastic hemiparesis. The overall mortality rate was 8.3%. Our findings align with existing literature, with many cases having in indeterminate origin and discovering cryptogenic causes. In conclusion, cerebral infarction in young individuals poses a diagnosis challenge. Our study emphasizes the need for comprehensive research into risk factors and through etiological assessments to develop effective therapeutic strategies for recurrence prevention. Thank you for your keen attention.